be the greatest of all time. And that's my motivation. So it's that simple. Or is that simple? It's not simple, but for me it is. That's my mind frame, and it's not to be the greatest of all time in anyone else's book or how they judge the greats. Is for me. I feel like I have a potential to continue to get better and maximize my time while I'm able to play this game of basketball. And you know, I want to be the greatest, and that's my motivation. That's all I need. I'm far away from it, but I see the light.
He sees the light. 2 rings, going for a third. LeBron possibly in the driver's seat this season, Nelly. We start with you first, the king, as you would say. What else does he need to do to accomplish what he said he wants to be, the greatest of all time?
I think he just needs to continue doing what he's doing. I don't know, like, what else, because obviously, you know, people have their own mindset as far as what curriculum or what, you know, what counts as being the greatest of all time. So that varies.
I mean, just cement it for everyone.
Right. Well, you can't cement it for everyone.
Michael Jordan.
Everybody.
A lot of people would.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, most
you
people
get some people saying Bill Russell. You get some people say Kareem or some. You know what I'm saying? I mean, majority of the people say Michael Jordan. Now, what I would say about him, I think, as me Skip talked back in the back. I mean, if the guy runs off 5 championships in a row, I mean, it's going to be hard to beat
5 more in a row? Or
No, 5 total.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? 5 total in a row. You know, 3 more basically. Then I think it's going to be hard to probably argue with that. I think Michael Jordan was much, much bigger than the game of basketball, and I think that's what plays into everybody's psyche as saying he's the greatest, because you wanted to be like Mike on and off the court.
Because of the shoes and the...
Well, because of everything. Okay. It was just everything. It was what we call his swag. Yeah. It was just everything. You wanted to chew gum like the man. Yeah. You know, you didn't play basketball. Women watched TV because of Michael Jordan. I know my mom, when Jordan left, my mom stopped watching for a minute. Yeah. You know, but he brought him back. I don't know if, you know, his persona as far as being able to be categorized as a sex symbol, somewhat, so to speak, because, you know, sex sells regardless on any aspect. And when you're talking about being the greatest, it's a 360. It's a full circle. Now, if you're talking about basketball, I mean, he's a freak of nature. So, again, if he runs off, I think 3 more, I think he has a what? It would be terribly hard to argue.
Go ahead. You're the basketball expert.
That's why you should have me go last.
Oh.
But okay. I'll go first. Let me say this. It's a tough call in this respect. And I know that, you know, Skip and I disagree with this, but this part, see, when it comes to Michael Jordan,
Jeffrey,
the reason why I always say, whether it's LeBron, it's Kobe, or anybody else, I always give MJ the nod.
Of course.
Is because 6 for 6 with 6 NBA Finals MVPs.
I give him the nod too. Let's be clear.
When it mattered most, he closed the deal and never ever failed to do so.
Right.
You see, when I think about Kobe, and Kobe and I have, you know, debated this and all of this, because Kobe, he don't think he takes second place to anybody. That's how he feels. And I don't blame him for that. I have mad respect for that. But I was there when you lost to Detroit. I was there when Boston beat you by 39 in a closeout game 6. I can't get over that. I was there when LeBron lost to San Antonio, even though we all predicted that because he wasn't playing with much of a team.
Right.
But I was also there when you were favored and should have beaten the Dallas Mavericks, and you came up small in the 4th quarter of 4 consecutive games. I can't get over that. What I will say is that LeBron is a 4-time league MVP. If this dude wins the chip again and he wins another MVP, that's 5 MVPs in 6 years.
Right.
That's 3 consecutive world championships.
4 straight
he deserves, and 4 straight trips to the finals. He deserves to be in the conversation. I can't give him because I can't give anybody the nod.
Over my man, I agree.
MJ.
I said I agree.
But he deserves to be in the conversation. If he would have run off 5, okay, definitely it's a discussion. And oh, by the way, if he leaves Miami, Because that's something else we need to get into today while you're here.
Right.
So I can break this down because there's a lot of noise out there about LeBron. Let me just kill it.
No,
Let me just break
we
it
don't
down.
need to get into it. You need to get into
I
it.
really, really do. I really do. But let me tell you something. If LeBron leaves Miami
Right.
and goes to Cleveland or goes to New York and delivers another chip in a different locale.
Says a
You're
New York
talking
guy.
about
Or New York. Okay, go ahead. Go
It's
ahead.
a mellow.
Go
This
ahead.
is some little thing
Right,
they
right,
got
right,
going
right.
on right now. I'm just breaking it down. The point that I'm trying to make to you is, if you do something like that, then you're talking about some unprecedented stuff here.
Right.
And that's where, and again, but I would still struggle to
give
give
him
that
that.
edge. Because, see, what LeBron and everybody else that compares LeBron to MJ really want us to do is, since you've taken that step and now you've been winning championships, let's erase everything that happened prior to that. I'm looking at MJ and what he had to fight through to get to that point. I'm thinking about the migraine headache from Scottie Pippen that possibly cost him a chip. I'm thinking about the 2 years or 2 seasons, basically, because even though he came back
Detroit
with
beat him
17.
up bad.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about when he won the 3 and then left. And then came back 17 games. I mean, a legitimate argument could be made. MJ could have won 8 straight.
I
Right.
agree.
That's hard to ignore.
No.
Okay. First of all, this question is flat out unfair to LeBron James because of Michael Jeffrey Jordan and 6 for 6 with 6 Finals MVPs. So, to answer your question, what does LeBron have to do to eclipse Michael Jordan? I'll just give you, in my mind, my answer. He would have to win 5 more in a row to get to 7 straight. That's all. And I know, I just said it was completely unfair. But if you do that, LeBron James, then I would have to step back and say, wow, that's too good, man. 7 straight?
What if he tied them?
Okay, but I'm
6 straight?
Okay, but here's why I can't give you the tie. The tie goes to Michael Jordan because of what you brought up. And I will erase that LeBron got swept by the San Antonio Spurs when he was in
Yeah,
Cleveland. I dismiss that
So
one.
do I.
I cannot, as you said, what was your line? You said, I can't get over what happened. I cannot erase what happened because I have never seen a superstar have a more nightmarish championship finals as LeBron did against the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. That's just, it's inexcusable, it's unforgivable on a basketball level, and you have to keep it in the equation of LeBron's overall greatness. I'm going to be tough here, but I can't get over that LeBron had 3, what I would call by his standards, nightmarish games against the Spurs in this last finals, including the end of Game 6. And I know you'll say I'm nitpicking, but I'm going to say this is part of my equation here if we're doing this debate. LeBron had 2 turnovers in the last minute of Game 6. 2 turnovers, crucial turnovers that let San Antonio have new life. And in the end, he took 2 out. He made 1 out of 3 threes. He missed the 3 that would have tied the game and sent it to overtime. Long rebound to Bosch, and God knows we know what happened after that. Yeah. Ray Allen happened. Yeah. Ray Allen saved LeBron James' legacy with the greatest clutch shot I have ever seen, including the MJ shots, to 3 to tie from the corner, walk or no walk, travel or no travel. Was that not the greatest?
Hey, that was stupid.
You're right, Skip. My only issue with what you're saying is that you act like every single game of an NBA Finals, Michael Jordan played well. Right. There were games that Michael Jordan struggled. There were games that
Kerr hit some big shots.
I remember.
Hodges hit some big shots.
When they were down plus 20, and bench players with Stacey King and those boys came off the bench and brought them back to beat Portland. Okay, now granted, Michael closed the deal because he ultimately came off the bench, but they made that run without him. There have been games. There were games against Utah. There was a game 5 when they were supposed to close Utah out. Had to go back to Utah. Made all the sports writers mad because we had to go back to Utah after we was going to close out the deal in Chicago, and they didn't show up in Chicago. There was a couple of games against Phoenix. The stuff happens.
Okay, it does, but it doesn't happen the way it happened to LeBron in 2011.
But what I'm saying is, like, you comparing his mental to probably one of the most strongest in all of sports. In all of sports, though.
Sports history.
That's what I'm saying. So you're comparing his mental. That's like you said again, and you did say that it's unfair.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So again, he was young at a certain period of time. You're talking about him coming into his own now, being more mature, obviously having better pieces around him to work with as far as getting the job done. I mean, to have Ray Allen in the corner, like we said again, how many times have we saw Steve Kerr, Craig Hodges, John Paxson, you know, and then if you want to go to the Lakers, big shot Rob Horry, Derek Fisher leaning back off of whatever he caught and threw it up with point-something seconds. So it happens. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs a little life preserver every now and again, but you can't. I don't think you can take that away from him holding down that series. That was just 3.2 seconds of wait. Yo, I need some help. I just need one shot.
I do think that LeBron has earned the right, subliminally speaking,
to be mentioned,
to ask. No, I'm saying subliminally speaking, to ask us to sit there and say, when I won my first chip, judge me from here. What I mean by that is looking at me from that point, because clearly there is no comparison to MJ before then. So from that point forward, when they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder to win the world championship, who was he that season? Who has he been
since?
And what has he been since? Okay. And if you look at him from that perspective, if he keeps on this run, Skip, if this dude, and he shot better from the perimeter last year.
He's getting better. He's getting better.
If it is true that this dude continues to get better,
man.
And let me say,
I don't know.
After he survived Game 6, they survived Game 6. His Game 7 was one for the clutch shot ages. It was
he showed
incredibly impressive.
And let me tell you something. No matter what struggles you do in Game 6, when you show up for a Game 7 and you ball,
big,
all's forgiven.
Big. Not all, but some is.
Game 7?
Here's my point. Do you think it's laughable that LeBron James could win 7 straight championships? Because I don't think it's laughable.
I don't think it's laughable at all. I think it's very
So I give it, even though it's a long shot, God bless him, he'd have to stay completely healthy for this run. But you want to talk about a body that looks like it can stay healthy?
Well, I don't think it's going to be him. I think it's going to determine the organization that he goes to and the pieces that stay around him. You see what I'm saying? And the coach.
Let's not forget this. Let's not let people off the hook here. If LeBron wins 7 in a row, Kevin Durant got some answering to do.
Yep.
Because he's big time.
Well, you got that right.
He's big time. Ain't no reason that LeBron should go 5, not even 3, let alone 4, 5, 6, or 7 years straight. With Kevin Durant having the skill set that he has and having that boy that you disrespected for so long, Russell Westbrook, with him, there is no excuse.
He's Batman now.
There is no excuse. Chris Paul, different kind of player, point guard, but having Doc Rivers up in there, Blake Griffin's supposed to show up. That's supposed to help.
Wait, what about that guy in New York City?
Oh, I was getting ready to bring him up. I forgot him. But I'm thinking, again, outside shot. Very outside shot. If Carmelo's playing with LeBron, that's one thing. If he's not, to me, Carmelo Anthony got some answering to do. If LeBron is going to win all of these years, where you at? This boy, LeBron, do you have any idea how lethal of an offensive player Carmelo Anthony is?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I mean, come on now. So I'm just saying, that's right, no doubt. Yeah. So do I. In the end, you got these peeps.
Right.
LeBron is winning. He's beating somebody. Where are y'all?
Well, I think next year might be his toughest year.
Why?
Give it to me Brooklyn.
Straight.
I think Brooklyn could stand.
One more. Say one more team.
This way. One
more team.
Chicago.
No. Where am I going?
Where you going? Oklahoma.
Indiana.
Oh, Indiana. Yeah, Indiana.
It.
I still
Listen.
I love Indiana. I just think, and there's no disrespect to Hill. I just think that point guard position.
The point guard is right.
I just think that point guard position is very, very crucial down there. And you know, I think the cat, he plays good, but I think it's going to take a superior point guard to orchestrate against him.
You've been saying trade Danny Granger for point guard.
Remember, I've been saying this. Number one, George Hill, to his credit, let's not disrespect.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Let me say this.
I like him.
George Hill, I like him too.
Right.
He knows. I've spoken to him. He knows he's not. He knows he has a lot of work as a point guard.
Right.
He considers himself a player who has to learn how to play the point guard spot. Right. And that's fair. I give him a lot of credit for acknowledging that. They re-signed Danny Granger. My thinking has been, trade Danny Granger, get yourself Rondo. A point guard like that. Yeah.
There
if
you
you
go.
don't do that, however,
There you go.
if you don't do that,
I agree.
what did I keep saying against when they played the Knicks? I said, these are some trees, these are some big boys.
Big.
You got David West, you got Roy Hibbert,
Yo.
you got Louis Scola.
Did they re-sign
You got
West?
Louis Scola. They re-signed
Yep.
David West. You got Louis Scola. You got C.J. Watson for the Brooklyn Nets.
Right.
You got Granger with Paul George.
Right.
You got some size. Miami. What's the biggest thing? LeBron was the difference because you have no answer for him, not just because of his skill set, because of his size. Indiana was tough
Right.
because that's one thing they don't have to be concerned about. Do not ignore this team.
Can Granger,
Do not ignore this
can
team.
Granger and George
They don't have-
exist though? Can they exist together? Granger and
It's a question
and
mark. Paul
George. Can they exist
a
together
question
on the
mark.
court? Because
Question
as we saw with George, he's capable of having big games and he needs the ball in his hand, a la Granger. Now, when them two come back, does that chemistry
Okay,
change?
but neither of you have yet mentioned a superstar in Indiana because
agree.
they don't have one.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Detroit
fair.
won 2 titles.
All right, Nelly, let's talk about this. Let's layer this.
I think
today.
Isaiah was
We
a
talked
superstar.
about this on the show. Sporting